who comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hello, hello. Looks like I started 2 minutes early. Usually I'm late. I mean, I put the time, but then, my phone might ring. A lot of different things might happen. A lot of different things might happen. So this is, um, Amber sent me a reading and I'm going to use it. I'm going to go ahead and use it as a suggested reading that Amber suggested we do this topic. I like handing out credit, even if it's not really due. Why not? Why not? You know, like I just said in a meeting, I said, I go to bed a recovered alcoholic and I wake up a drunk. And somebody put that in chat. They're like, I love that. I'm going to use it. I'm like, go ahead, because I stole it. That is not original. To think that you're going to have an original thought. There's been too many people come before us. Too many people. And we are not any smarter than we were 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. I know you didn't suggest it. I was having fun. She's like, I'm not going to take credit. I didn't do that. So I took it as a I took it as a suggestion. That doesn't mean Amber asked to do it. Yeah. So yeah, no, we don't have original thoughts. You know, I may say something that I kind of think is original, but there's a very good chance that somebody has said it before me. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. This probably won't be too long. I'm already getting kind of wore out today. So, I've been writing a letter. I'm going to read this letter. I'm going to go ahead and read it. This is going out to all the professionals and everybody that I've been working with. And it is because the state funds have been cut this year. There's no money for what we would call SUD, which stands for Substance Use Disorder. It did not surprise me that the budget for SUD was cut this year, and I knew we'd fall very short of our budget. I've seen this before, but this is not really bad news, if you know the solution. Since I knew this was happening, I've been proactive in our community. This also means that all the predators will disappear or have less control of funds and therefore people. For 4 years, I've been working on removing those with bad intent while trying to build relationship with those with servants' hearts. So what is the answer? It is the 12-step groups. You see, 12-step groups are not dependent on money or the government to keep them going. A is the largest organization in the world, hands down. Beyond that, not one person wanted to be a part of it. It is time for the professionals to start referring people back to the 12 steps. We in 12 steps believe in professionals, and we know that we need a symbiotic relationship. It takes a tribe to get someone and keep them sober. Everyone I'm sending this to is someone I feel we need to help our community. I've been part of the recovery community for 30 years now. I was working in detox when we were number 7 in the country. I've seen these things come and go, but the 12 steps tend to stand strong. So what is my intention here? It is to educate professionals like yourself on what the 12 steps has to offer. I'm not quite done with this. I'm going to give a great example of how AA members can help with a detox. Please remember that I'm thinking everyone here, including those with servants' hearts, but who we would call normal drinkers. One alcoholic working with another recovered alcoholic has the best success rate, and it will always be true. I am a person that can get them to see the true gravity of their situation. And when I help them get willing, then it's time for the professionals to step in. Though it may never happen, detox should be run by those in recovery. Then success rate, and I'm going to go ahead and take that line out. Doesn't belong there. Then the success rate goes up and they need treatment, and that is where those with bachelor's degrees come in. The solution that I'm going to bring up has been going on for 90 years. Call the AA hotline, exclamation point. You see, those in AA want to come help. They do not want payment. The payment is that they get another day sober. We cannot keep the precious gift unless we give it away. We'll do almost anything to get a 12-step call done, and you do not have to pay them. In AA, we have what is called the responsibility statement, right? I'm responsible when anyone anywhere reaches out for help. I want the hand of AA. I always be there for that. I'm responsible. This was written for the professionals, and we are here to support, not direct. I'm writing this in part so that you know AA is still here and to inform you that we are not recovery coaches, doctors, or therapists. We are just people who truly want to help. So, yeah. Hey, Dion. If anything, you stole it from me. Oh, yeah, that you can have any reason to get sober. So, yeah, but welcome to Daily Trudge. Hi, Ingrid, if I didn't say it. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello. No, I said hello. Labyrinth, right? Labyrinth is somewhere. Princess Bride, I think. All right. I'm opening to Bill's story because there's a part in here that I want to read. Bless you, baby. My wife's very quiet unless she sneezes. And then even the neighbors fucking know. She's scared. She has sneezed so hard it has scared the fuck out of me before. So, all right. So this comes from, it is April 7th from the Daily Reflection, which you may already have the blue one. And speaking for Dr. Bob and myself, I gratefully declare that if it had not been for our wives, Anne and Lois, neither one of us would have lived to see AA's beginning, AA Way of Life, page 67, the AA Way of Life. Maybe we didn't put the in there and we couldn't find it. Amber and I went and tried to look for this book. It's not out in publication. It costs like $60. Hey, Claire Joyce, good to see you. It's been the weekend with Dion and Claire Joyce. Hey, when you find your people, stick with them, man. Stick with them. So I share it to there. Doesn't matter. I'm shut. So that you know, and I don't think it's going to affect anybody here, but I'm shutting down the Trudging Together group just because it's not doing anything. It's not it, I don't post to it and a lot of stuff. So we tried to find this book and it turned into As Bill Sees It. It shouldn't make any sense. Anyway, am I capable of such generous tribute and gratitude to my wife, parents, and friends, without whose support I may never have survived to reach AA's doors? I will work on this and try to see the plan my higher power is showing me, in which links our lives together. Yeah. A lot of people, I hear a lot of people say, I would die for my kids. And that's the easy way in our lives. That's the easy way out. Question is, would you get well for them? Because I would. And the reason that, so I'm trying to find this place in the big book. Let's just get to it. There it is. I'll start back here. You can get sober for any darn reason that you want. In fact, to this day, I am sober because I love my wife and kids and I don't want to be that person anymore. But when I first got into this program, I didn't love anything about me. I wanted me dead more than anybody else in this world because I knew what I was doing. See, there's a terror, there's a horror. It's a fucking soul sickness when you have a head full of AA and a belly full of booze. It's pure fucking torture. I mean, I have 12-step people in bars before, and they went and got sober. I have one friend, she's well over 20 years now. I was drinking pretty heavily, but she was on parole and and it was because of meth and she wanted to go do meth and I kind of walked her through it. I was at work. This was when I was doing merchant services. She started going to meetings and she was able to take care of it. And then it turned out had to go to work release and one day I needed a ride. She came and picked me up. My son, he's got well, I'm at 8 years. He's got well over 10 years off of meth. He came home one day because he had left. He was living with us, and he came back and he said, "Dad, yeah, I don't want to do it anymore." And I'm like, I don't have any rooms, but there's the couch, and he did it. Just like a week or so ago, I'm like, because he doesn't know exactly where I'm like, I'm proud of you for that, like really proud. And no, they didn't revert to, drinking or doing crack or say anything else. Yeah, these are great things. And why did he do that? Because he loved people in his life. See, love tends to be the answer to a lot of things in this, you know. But the story I kind of tell with that is I didn't love me. And this part was highly uncomfortable because I didn't think I deserved fucking anything. Nah. And some days that still tends to happen to me. But what I did is I went and put myself in the middle of the herd and I let people love me until I could learn how to do it myself. And then I was able to do the steps for myself. And that's where it came in. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Give me a second here. Let's see if this helps. Somebody's trying to get here. Oops. All right. Maybe that'll help him get here. All right. Now, I'm going to read out of Bill's story, just one paragraph. And bottom of page 7. You don't really need to follow along. I'm going to read another part in the book. I'm going to go to 2 wives, where I read a little bit of it. They did not need to tell me. I knew. Okay. And this was like the second time before Bill was going to quit drinking. He said, they didn't need to tell me. I almost knew, and I almost welcomed the idea. Right before that, they said they're going to have to give him over to the undertaker or asylum. And he's like, yeah, they didn't need to tell me. I knew and almost welcomed the idea. I understand that. I understand just to stop the fucking insanity. It was a devastating blow to my pride. I, who had thought so well of myself and my abilities, of my capacity to surmount obstacles, was cornered at last. Now I was to plunge into the dark, joining the endless procession of sots who had gone on before me. It's this next line, and I caught this a while back. I thought of my poor wife. There it is. There have been much happiness after all, what I would not give to make amends, but that was now over. Yeah. He got sober. He got sober for, and there's nothing wrong with it. And why do I bring this up often? Because I bring it up often. It is because there's a lot of people out there on TikTok, which is back up, by the way. He's not even in office yet, but Trump was like, nope, turn it back on. Freedom of speech, my friend. So TikTok is back. I didn't care either way. So, to work. Oh, good news. Yeah, good news. Yeah, you have my email incorrect on my webpage. Get it fixed. Got curious what he said. So, if you would like to follow along, I'm in 2 Wives on page 104. All right. Now, alcoholism is a family disease, and there is a place for our spouses, our children. There's a couple of different places. Al-Anon is usually for spouses, or people that have been affected, friends and relatives, usually adults. Okay? Alateen is usually for the teenagers, the kids. You run by the Al Anon family groups. ACA, which is Adult Children of Alcoholics, they deal more with trauma and things like that. So that gives you an idea that there's some more support out there for the family. I don't believe that I do not hold to the fact that the alcoholic is the only sick one. It's unfortunate, but maybe the alcoholism doesn't seep into other people, but the neuroticism sure does. Okay. And codependency is also kind of a mental illness. Okay. Now, I tell you something. If you complete the 12 steps and you start working with a sponsee, you're going to be codependent. It's going to happen. Okay. Yes, we alcoholics have codependency issues. So, what is the key there? This was the first rule I learned in counseling. Never work harder than the client. Never work harder than the sponsee. Don't you dare do their work. Right? Yeah. Hey, Michelle, glad you found that link helped. Okay, good, good. There's been some weird things going on with the internet today. All right. With few exceptions, our books thus far have spoken of men, of the alcoholics, what should say. But what we have said applies quite as much to women. Our activities in behalf of women who drink are on the increase. There's every evidence that women regain their health as readily as men if they try our suggestions. But for every person who drinks, others are involved. I'm changing some of the words, right? Let's qualify that. Alcoholism is not based on gender. It is not based on gender. Whether whatever you believe yourself to be, because I get people what they need. If they want to think that way, then that's what they get to think. Um, but for every person who drinks, others are involved. The wife who trembles in fear at the next debauch, the mother and father who see their son wasting away. All right. Now, what's even worse for this father or mother is this. One of their parents was probably alcoholic, which is why that father or mother doesn't drink. It's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. Okay. So it makes it even worse because they're like, I brought I brought I brought my son, daughter up correctly. I don't understand. We had a good set, and it's true they did. Okay. I'm gonna go into generational cycles and breaking them. You cannot break the alcoholic generational cycle. You are not God and you can't do it. I keep hearing people say it. Okay. I have no control over other people's mental illnesses that they're born with. And yes, I believe we're born with this. There's too much proof for me. Okay. What can we break? Well, we can break the anger, the being able to approach us, the teaching of being honest and things like that, so that when they are ready, it makes them a little more comfortable going into the rooms. We can plant the seed. We can show them so that they know what the right way. See, my parents didn't do that. Anger was this: punch a hole in the wall, yell and scream, hit me with a belt, or put me away. Okay. None of which I did to my children. No. Okay. But, and this is opinion, purely opinion, but I've been doing this a while. Okay. You cannot break an alcoholic generational cycle unless you know how to alter somebody's DNA. Among us are wives, relatives, and friends whose problem has been solved, as well as some who have not yet found a happy solution. We want the wives of Alcoholics Anonymous to address the wives of men who drink too much. What they say will apply to nearly everyone bound by ties of blood or affection to an alcoholic. As wives of Alcoholics Anonymous, now, Ingrid, please remind me, did Lois write this? I think we ended up figuring out that Bill wrote it with Lois's misgivings, I think is what we figured out. As wives of alcoholics, we would like you to feel that we understand as perhaps few can. So there again, well, I don't know how to deal with my alcoholic husband or wife. See, they need somebody, they start to feel a little terminally unique too. And when that happens, resentment starts. Absolutely, it does. Was I right? Thank you, Ingrid. I couldn't remember. I knew we went back and figured it out at some point. Um, we want you to leave with the feeling that no situation is too difficult and no unhappiness too great to be overcome. We have traveled a rocky road. There is no mistake about that. We have had long rendezvous with hurt, pride, frustration, self pity, misunderstanding, and fear. These are not pleasant companions. We have been driven to maudlin sympathy, to bitter resentment. Some of us veered from extreme to extreme, ever hoping that one day our loved ones would be themselves once more. Yeah, you weren't the person that I married. Well, when I got married to my wife, I was the only person drunk at my wedding. Let me put it that way. I did not hide my drinking. I didn't hide it. Why my mom let me get away with it, I don't know. Probably because it was probably wasn't for me. It was probably for she probably did that for Shannon, and good for her. That'd be the right thing to do. Because my mom, in no way or form, would be a codependent to my drinking. No way. Our loyalty, and it is loyalty. Okay. Now, thinking about this, I think of my wife and the things that I put her through. She used to see my Shannon used to be my girlfriend when I got sober the first time, and she would tell me, "I know the sober Dion. I know the sober Dion. That's who I know, right? And I'm going to love you until you can learn how to love yourself again, because I used to be able to. Okay? I didn't quite understand it like this. Experience and living life has taught me a lot more with that. Our loyalties and the desire that our husbands hold up their heads and be like other men have begotten all sorts of predicaments. We have been unselfish and self sacrificing. We have told innumerable lies to protect our pride and our husbands' reputations. We have prayed, we have begged, we have been patient, we have struck out viciously, we have run away, we have been hysterical, we have been terror stricken, we have sought sympathy, we have had retaliatory love affairs with other men. Can you really blame them? I mean, if I go back and look at my actions, you know, now there again, no, I'm not going to get into that part. Never mind. Our homes have been battlegrounds many an evening. In the morning, we have kissed and made up. Our friends have counseled chucking them in, and we have done so with finality, only to be back in a little while, hoping, always hoping. Our men have our men have sworn great solemn oaths that they were through drinking forever. We have believed them when no one else could or would. Then in days, weeks, or months, a fresh outburst. I don't think I could have gotten sober without the belief of my wife. I don't think I could have. I understand a lot of this. We didn't see, since I didn't hide my drink, my wife didn't really have to lie. No, he just can't do it. And they knew what she was talking about. There was no reason to hide it. I knew everybody knew, right? And look at all this, to have somebody believe in you, especially as an alcoholic. That's why there's so much shame and stuff behind it, because we made promises, and at the time we meant it. I meant it every single fucking time, but I didn't know what to do. Seldom had friends at our homes. We never knowing how or when the men of our house would appear. We could make a few social engagements. We came to live almost alone. When we were invited out, our husbands sneaked so many drinks that they spoiled the occasion. That would be me, absolutely. If, on the other hand, they took nothing, their self pity made them killjoys. I don't know that because there's no way I'd go. You just wouldn't be able to move me. There was never financial security. Positions were always in jeopardy or gone. An armored car could have not brought enough pay, have brought the pay envelopes home. The checking account melted like snow, in June. All right. I'm going to go to top of page 107. Um, Actually, I'm going to start at the bottom of page 106. We began to ask medical advice as the sprees got closer together. The alarming physical and mental symptoms, the deepening pall of remorse, depression, and inferiority that settled down on our loved ones. These things terrified and distracted us. As animals on a treadmill, we have patiently and warily climbed, falling back in exhaustion after each futile effort to reach solid ground. Most of us entered the final stage with this commitment to health, resorts, sanitariums, hospitals, and jails. Sometimes there was a screaming delirium and insanity. Death was often near. How scary to see your loved one on the ground in DTs, having a grand mal seizure because of their drinking. Hospital trips, lots of hospital trips for me, you know, and I would sit there in the bed shaking, right, uncontrollably, while my wife mustered all the courage that she could just to fucking sit next to me and watch me go through this shit. And to think I knew what love was, no, I didn't. And even then, I wonder, do I still understand it now? Do I still understand it like they do? To have somebody that, where people, for me, everybody always abandoned me, but of course I also ran them off. So to have someone who refused it almost went against everything, but I was okay with it for some reason. I've always felt that way with my wife. Yeah, I've always felt totally comfortable. Under these conditions, we naturally made mistakes. Some of them rose out of ignorance of alcoholism. Sometimes we sensed dimly that we were dealing with sick men. Had we fully understood the nature of the alcoholic illness, we might have behaved differently. How could men who love their wives and children be so unthinking, so callous, and so cruel? There could be no such love in persons, we thought. And just as we were being convinced of their heartlessness, they would surprise us with a fresh resolves and new attentions. For a while, they would be their old sweet selves, only to dash the new structure of affection to pieces once more. Asked why they commenced to drink again, they would reply with some silly excuse or none. It was so baffling, so heartbreaking. Could we have been so mistaken in the men we married? When drinking, they were strangers. Sometimes they were so inaccessible that it seemed as though a great wall had been built around them. All right, enough bashing on the alcohol. We get it, right? So I'm going to go towards the end of this because there's usually something, maybe there's something. They usually get to the solution towards the end. So, all right. So I'm 120 and I'm going to finish the chapter. Perhaps your husband will make a fair start on a new basis. But just as things are going beautifully, he dismays you by coming home drunk. If you are satisfied he really wants to get over drinking, you need not be alarmed. Though it is infinitely better that he have no relapse at all, as he has been true with many of our men, it is by no means a bad thing in some cases. I just, thanks, Claire Joyce. Yeah, how would, it's my Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, you talk about us like that. All right. You'll hear people say, that they needed their last relapse. It made them realize. They made them realize. Sometimes they maybe a guy suggests, well, if you're not an alcoholic, go try some controlled drinking. Keeping in mind what we told you, right? A slip is not always a bad thing. Now, it's bad in the fact that alcohol is no good for us, and maybe we did something for that. But Usually a relapse brings us closer to permanent sobriety in most cases. Um, is is relapse part of recovery? People are going to say no because you drank, and they're like, drinking is not part of recovery. No, that means you're not sober. And since sober and recovery are two different things, I don't know. I think it's up to the individual. I do. It's up to them. If it turns into a positive thing, why not use it? Okay. And I just love people that I've never relapsed. Bullshit. That's bullshit. Just so you know. Okay. Now, it is true of everybody that I have not relapsed since my last drink. That's true of everyone. Okay. But if you ever made a promise and went back out, you relapsed. If you made a decision not to drink again and you went back out, you relapsed. It relapses not doesn't become a thing because you went into AA. Okay. And again, opinion. So no, and I haven't relapsed since I got sober either. Well, just don't use it to bring it worse. All right. Your husband will see at once that he must redouble his efforts, that he must redouble his spiritual activities if he expects to survive. You need not remind him of his spiritual deficiencies. He will know it. Cheer him up and ask him how you can still be more helpful. What does that sound like? Well, it sounds like unconditional love. And that will work with an alcoholic because it's unconditional. We know when it's conditional. And we will resist. We will resist no matter how loving it is. If it is conditional, we will not go for it. I don't know what that is about us, but it seems to happen. The slightest sign of fear or of intolerance may lessen your husband's chance of recovery. In a weak moment, he may take your dislike as a high stepping friends as one of those insanely trivial excuses to drink. Yeah, don't give him more excuses to drink. Okay. And I don't want to say it this way, but I can't think of another way. Us nagging other people is not a supportive way to help someone. Well, you know this is going to happen. You know, yes, I know. I know. Now I'm going to go drink because I don't know what else to do with myself. I don't. We never try to arrange a man's life so as to shield him from temptation. Nothing. It won't work. Their defect always glare. I'm the one in the program. Yeah, that's the right attitude to have. It's my side of the street that I need to clean, right? Yeah. And since we've been there before, we know what it feels like, so we can provide some empathy, right? But here they're reinforcing that anything that shields the alcoholic from drinking has failed the doom. You got you got to be responsible for your triggers, man. And because I've been harping on this lately, so I'll bring it up. And they tried it here, but we turned it down. Where that what they wanted to do, and it was so that they could get more grants and more money. That's all it was for. The people trying to get the bill passed, but the bill was that places like Mile High Stadium put aside a specific area for sober people only. You know what we call that? We call that segregation. And if I have not become neutral to alcohol, maybe it's best that I don't go to the game this week. Maybe it's best if I don't do that this time around. We've got to get to a point where we are neutral to alcohol. Okay. Now I got to practice these 12 principles in all my life, right? Well, when I went to the Billy Joel concert, if there would have been a section just for us, people that want to be sober, okay, then I wouldn't have been able to help out the people that were sitting next to me. What about God? What about the direction of God in that case? What is the intention? Well, the intention is to shield these people. No, I even think, sober bars. That's an oxymoron. Maybe. I don't know. Is it going to be on the first step? It's a joke because uh it's just a joke because the noon meeting, every meeting's been on the first step, and even Amber was like, I don't want to do the first step, but that's what came up, so it's just kind of um so finally, oh, right. The slightest disposition on your part to guide his appointments or make his affairs so he will not be tempted will be noticed. Make him feel absolutely free to come and go as he likes. This is important. If he gets drunk, don't blame yourself. That goes for you too, sponsors. You cannot control somebody else's actions. If they have decided to drink, there's not going to be much you can do because they ain't going to call you. Okay? They'll call you when the spree is over, but they're dealing with something beyond their capacity. God has either removed your husband's liquor problem or he has not. If not, it better be found out right away. Then you and your husband can get right down to fundamentals. If a repetition is to be prevented, place the problem along with everything else in God's hands. We realize that we have been giving you much direction and advice. We may have seemed to lecture. That's just an Al-Anon for you. I'm not gonna make fun of any Al-Anons. I even have an Al-Anon joke. Maybe I'll tell it at the end, but no, it's all for good fun. All right. We may have seemed to lecture. If that is so, we are sorry, for we ourselves don't always care for people who lecture us. But what we have related is based upon experience, some of it painful. We had to learn these things the hard way. Yeah, so they're not, why not take the advice of people who have been there before, been through it like you had? Now you can avoid those hurdles, right? Not just them drinking, but them deciding to stop doing the steps halfway through. Yeah, you're going to know. You're going to know. Good point, Amber. Yeah. You can usually tell. And you can even say something, but if they've made up their mind, what happened when you made up your mind? You know? So, but what we have related is based upon experience, some of it painful. We had to learn these things the hard way. That is why we are anxious that you understand and that you avoid these unnecessary difficulties. So to you out there who may soon be with us, we say good luck and God bless you. I think it's funny that they say good luck. Good luck, man. Good luck out. Good luck and God bless you, man. It's just the way I was saying it to make it funny. All right, quick Al-Anon joke. I'll do some other jokes too, though, that are kind of like I was gonna go to Procrastinators Anonymous, but I just couldn't find the time. Do you? Okay, here it is. Do you want to see the Al-Anon handshake? That's it. Let's get back to this. And if they made up their mind and you're saying something, you're the bad guy. Yeah, they wrote a whole chapter on working with others. Absolutely, they did. And it's very clear in there on when and how to help. It is very clear. We've got to be neutral to alcohol. We can't hate alcohol. Right? Now, we could probably try, but I wouldn't bring up, hey, you're going to go drink. Because as soon as you say that, you gave him an excuse. In my mind, what you said is you just gave me permission to go drink. Literally, that's how my brain hears it. Okay? But if I do something like, hey, what's going on? You don't seem as enthusiastic about all this Is there something you need to talk about? I'm gonna at least give it a try. But and tell you, even then, you know, but at least then if something does happen, because I tell my sponsees this, I tell them this is not permission, but if you have a slip, that doesn't mean I'm gone. It does not mean that. Agreed. We do have to be neutral on almost everything because you're a guide, right? It's just like you're in the double decker bus and there's a couple people. On the left is Dion's house, and yeah, you can't just make it up, right? Yeah, yeah, we can't put our twist on it. It's got to be plain. That's why we all underline the same stuff. It's why we do that. Now, you'll probably share your experiences, but your sponsee should know that that's your experience and it might be different for them. We're here to be supportive. Anytime I take someone on, I tell them I still to this day, I have not fired a sponsee. I have not. I just don't. There's no need to. Because if I tell them, oh, I got to fire you, it means they're not allowed to come back. And I'm not going to make that decision. I don't want to be a part of that. So, but, we all do things differently. So, yeah, just try to be neutral. I won't leave. I will read the line about maybe you should go try some drink. Tell me how it goes. Yeah. From book, though, not based on my shitty memory. Oh, yeah, they're very different. Experiences are fact and opinions are not. That's why, and you'll hear me say it here quite often that it's my opinion. And that means it's not based in all fact, right? You can't let me go or fire me. I don't even rely to yeah, yeah. You can let me go or fire me. I've never had one do that. I have gotten messages like, Dion, fuck you and your program. Those are after 12 step calls. Then they talk to me and then they go to the bar. So you stick around long enough, you're going to have a lot of different experiences in this. Just know that you can't control anyone, good, bad, or indifferent. It isn't on you. Can't take credit for what other people do, whether it's good or bad. But we alcoholics in our extreme emotions. That's why we got to be careful of that. Did I say something to make them go out and drink? Well, I mean, come on. Can you? I mean, I don't know. I think that's probably for a different topic, though. All right. Well, I might be at the 3 o'clock, which means there's a good chance I'll be there. Anybody else that would like to go to 3 p.m., let me know. I will send you the link. I will send you the link. Actually, I can just put it right in here. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, it has no password. You don't need a password. So, do I have it on here? I do not, but I can do one better. I can do even better than that. Do do do. Mm, 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 mm. Here we go. There you go. If you'd like to join us, that is the login number. If you'd like to join us, thank you, Hoist, and the Daily Trudge. How'd the Daily Trudge do it? Oh, but I didn't do it from. That's weird, but that is me. So, yeah, you just copy and paste that. I'm getting it ready to end, but I'm talking a little bit longer for anybody that wants that. If you weren't able to get it, you'd like to join us, it's a newcomers meeting, and there will be anywhere from 30 to 70 people there. So, It is a newcomers meeting. It runs pretty smooth. Who's running? Diana will be chairing today. She's been in the program for like 40 years. We just had Mary Lee. She celebrated 44 years yesterday. We got a lot of really good long-term sobriety in there, um, and newcomers. So if you're looking for any sponsees or service work, things like that, it's a really good meeting. It is based out of York Street, kinda. It's an online meeting, but it's not really based out of anywhere. So, all right. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I had a record number in a few weeks of 5 people. That's a high number for Dion. All right. I love you. Peace out and have